Prawns are one of my favourite ingredients, and I've got two recipes that make the best use out of them. I'm going to use the head of the prawns and also the tail meat. So I'm going to show you to make a very simple bisque. Key into this is the heads. So all I've done is cut some of them in half because you're going to extract as much flavour as you certainly can from the prawn heads. Heat the pan. This is what we call a roasting process. Brown these off slightly, but this is where the real flavour in the bisque comes. Take the tail off and then cut the prawn heads in half, just using a big knife. So just be careful doing this. That's what you want to hear. We're going to let that cook just for a minute or two. And we're going to get the next layer of flavour in there. 1 onion, peeled and diced. You can slice it, it doesn't really matter. 2 celery stalks, and just cut them. Not too small, not too big. Carrots, that's 1 large carrot, peeled, cut into a small little dice. Now, give that a good stir. Immediately what you're going to smell is grilled prawns because of the shells. Fennel bulb is a beautiful, beautiful vegetable and works really well with a lot of different fish. It's kind of like aniseed, and that's why this works so well with fish, and particularly with the bisque and the prawns. And then some brandy and a little drop of white wine. We're going to flambe this. Stand back. Ooh. Using a little cigarette lighter, cook out the alcohol. We're going to put in some white wine. So this is what we call deglazing. Some tomato puree, a spoonful of that. The tomatoes give great colour, flavour, and they enrich the bisque. So that's the tomato puree stirred through. Now I'm going to put the can of tomatoes. And I'm going to put in some fish stock. You can make your own fish stock by using some lovely mussels, a little bit of sliced onion and white wine. Or you can use a cube. It's absolutely fine for this. That should be enough. Now, stirring this through here. The secret is to cook this out now. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to enrich it with some regular whipping cream. About 100 mils of cream there. So just pour this in. And I love herbs. So I have a little bit of dill here. You could use some coriander if you wanted to get that kind of Asian feel. And some lovely fresh basil. And just literally don't even bother chopping them. Just sprinkle them in there. Now, what needs to happen here, we need to bring this to the boil. What I'm going to do is put the lid on it, and then I'm going to simmer it for a good 15 to 20 minutes. So after 20 minutes, it's reduced. And the smell, oh, it's beautiful. Going to put some sea salt. So it's a very, very light bisque soup. You can call it that too. No flour, finished with a little bit of cream, and we're just going to strain it. You're keeping back all the vegetables, the heads of the prawns, strain it through a fine sieve. I can really get, of course, the smell of the prawns, but also the fennel, which gives a lovely aniseed taste to the actual bisque. Just with your hand, just knock this. And that's it done. Let that simmer away there for a moment. I'll show you how to prepare the prawn. Langoustine Dublin Bay prawn. Take it like this, remove the head, and that's what we use. Cut the head in half so you're extracting as much flavour from that. The tail meat, can I break it down? And then you cut it like that. And then this is the little vein here that you need to remove. And that's them done. As simple as that. I want to show you a lovely dressing, and it's called a sauce vierge, which works really well with whiting, with haddock, with hake. I'm going to start off by using some plain rapeseed oil, a finely diced red onion. So I'm going to put this into the pan just to start to soften that. And you can hear that sizzle. Perfect. A little bit of white wine vinegar where the sharpness comes in. For sweetness, I'm going to put a large pinch of caster sugar. Roasted red peppers. You can just get them pre-roasted, remove any of the seeds, any of the charred skin, so you don't have to worry about roasting them off. Just stir that through. Again, if you can dice it the same size as the onion, it'll work beautiful. Lemon zest, so fresh, this is so fragrant. I love the whole combination of the sweet and sour. More lemon, and this is the lemon-infused rapeseed oil. And then to finish it, a little bit of salt and some chopped chives, and it's as easy as that. I'm going to turn this right down. I don't want it to overcook. Just give it a good stir. Another few more chives. Some sea salt. A little bit of black pepper. And this will keep for a week in your fridge. It's always nice or warm. Doesn't have to be hot. Works really well with any kind of grilled fish. And the last thing I'm going to put in is fresh basil. So try and use fresh herbs if you can, because they add so much freshness. And basil is one of my favourites. See, with fish, works really well. And that's it done. On this back pan here, put a little bit of rapeseed oil, and we're going to grill our prawns. Tiny little bit of sea salt. The cut side down, we've removed the vein. And of course, you can take the prawns out of the shell if you want, and they'll cook even quicker, so they will. The one thing about shellfish is not to overcook it. I'm just going to taste the bisque. It's lovely and light. If you can just see the consistency of it. It's in no way heavy, and it's nice like that, but I'm going to hand blend it. So I'm going to show you the technique of that. It's really good. So flip over your prawns, and when you're doing them in the shell, you're getting even more flavour. So I'm going to serve up the bisque first. Put the hand blender in. And see those bubbles? That's exactly what I want. And it's ready to serve. So that is the bisque, light, fluffy, and a great way of using the heads. Get a little bit of flavoured oil. So we make this in the restaurant. We get some parsley, we blend it with some rapeseed oil or olive oil, and this is what we have here. But on its own, it's delicious. Tiny little dots of this. And they'll add lovely freshness. And then our prawns. Arrange them just all over the plate. They're so beautiful. Spoon over the lovely red pepper, salsa, or it can be called also a sauce vierge. The red onion, softened, roasted red pepper, a little bit of lemon zest, white wine vinegar, a touch of sugar, and lots of herbs. Now, if you want to, you can serve this with some salad leaves, but I think it looks beautiful on its own with some nice crusty bread. And I think it utilises a beautiful ingredient using the heads and the tails of those beautiful prawns. The prawn bisque, the grilled prawns with the sauce vierge.
Irish seafood. Easy to prepare and easy to cook. For everyday meals.